Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and as we discussed on today's edition of the John Muir Show, we've been largely disappointed by House Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, his performance in that role during the Trump presidency. We also talked about, on today's edition of the John Muir Show, how there is no room in Donald Trump's Republican Party, the Republican Party of today's day and age, for people who do not actually want to pursue all the things that Republicans have always said that we had wanted. All these America First things that we've been pushing for the longest time, we're in a position to make those a reality now, so we should all be excited about this. But it seems there's some Republicans out there, who aren't so on board. They like talking about it in years past, but now there's an opportunity to actually make things happen, they're getting cold feet. So you combine those two things, and it gets to what we are talking about here today in this video. You see, it should have come as no surprise to people that House Speaker Paul Ryan was among the first people yesterday after President Trump had floated the possibility saying, hey, I might issue an executive order here and see if we can't end birthright citizenship, citizenship being extended to babies who are born in this country, to people who are not our responsibility. They are foreign nationals. They are the burden of another country's government. Why are we giving these people citizenship? It's a question that President Trump seems to think is worth asking, and so do we. And then right away, what does Paul Ryan do? Oh no, that's not possible. We need to stop discussing this, is essentially what he comes out and says right away afterwards. I mean, it is a conversation worth having, Mr. Speaker, because as we discussed on the John Muir Show today, this is one that has never actually been flushed out in the courts. We don't know what they are going to say about this, so why not at least have the opportunity for the courts to rule on this matter? Because if the courts do rule that there is no need to continue extending birthright citizenship to babies who are born to foreign nationals in our country, well, guess what? That could save us a lot of money, because, of course, it usually ends up being the American taxpayer that has to pay for these individuals' schooling and healthcare and so many expenses in life. And then thanks to our senseless immigration practices that Democrats and rhinos will not let us get rid of, like chain migration. Oh yeah, it's not just that one baby who gets citizenship. Then all of a sudden we end up with that baby's entire damn family in our country too. And the taxpayers have to pay for all of those individuals generation after generation to live here as well. So it is a conversation that we should be having. Heck, this is all, based on the 14th Amendment. And it seems that with the 14th Amendment, it was not referring to, let's go ahead and give citizenship to the world's entire population. It seems pretty clear based on the language that is spelled out in the 14th Amendment, as well as the floor debate that was taking place on Capitol Hill as this was being implemented, that what the goal of this is to try and extend citizenship to people who were in this country as slaves, because this was right after the time of the Civil War, to make sure that the children of slaves were going to be protected with citizenship. This was not something that was meant to say, hey, entire world's population, come to the United States of America, have your kid here, and guess what? Then you could just ride the gravy train generation after generation after generation going forward. That does not seem like what we're talking about here. So of course it is worth having this conversation. Legal scholars are divided on this. Nobody actually has given the concrete answer. The courts have not given a solid yes or no on this. So why not have the conversation? President Trump, it is a brilliant move that he's doing this. He absolutely should issue that executive order. And it is so irresponsible of Speaker Ryan once again to say basically, oh, well, this could be a tough conversation. There might be some debate about this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. No, other side, Democrats, have your way. We won't even have this conversation. We've been seeing that far too often from the Speaker of the House. And he's been disappointing us left and right on key issue after key issue, most notably on the matter of immigration, where he has been doing everything he can to try and just clamp down any conservative calls for serious immigration reform, actually having immigration reform that is America first, actually trying to secure our borders. Paul Ryan has shown no interest in discussing those things. Rather, when it comes to immigration, the only thing he wants to talk about is how can we give amnesty to people who came here illegally, because it seems abundantly clear that Paul Ryan wants to continue placing the desires of big business looking for cheap labor ahead of that of the average taxpayer, and it is absolutely outrageous. Look, if you do not want to do what your constituents Republicans want. If you do not want to have those tough discussions, get into those sometimes heated debates, maybe you shouldn't have gotten into politics. And when you got into politics, maybe you shouldn't have gone for a leadership position afterwards, because we expect a leader to go to bat for what it is that the constituents of that party wants. And guess what, Mr. Ryan, when it has come to the most important issues that have been discussed in Washington, D.C. in recent years, you have been an absolute failure to us. So thank goodness you are not seeking re-election for the time being until you find your way the rest of the way out the door. If you could just do us a favor and not try to sound like a complete Democrat as you go. That's all the time that we have for today, but tune into the John Muir Show each and every weekday, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. on WSAU and WHBL. Till then, I'm out.